What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. Kanye West has finally put The Life of Pablo on various streaming services, Spotify, Apple Music, etc. And with that came a press release from Def Jam, and in it was a very interesting sentence that I wanted to read. So in the press release, it says, in the months to come, Kanye will release new updates, new versions, and new iterations of the album. An innovative, continuous process, the album will be a living, evolving art project. And it just pretty much confirms what Kanye has been doing thus far. Is kind of updating the album here and there. And this is the first big update. And you got to look at it. All the changes that he's made have been pretty minor. The biggest one being Vic Mensa and Sia on Wolves, and then he separated Frank Ocean's, little outro from Wolves into its own track, and then outside of that, it's pretty much a lot of mixing and mastering things, little things here and there. I don't have the full list, but I've read little things, here and there. And obviously, if you listen to it, I'm pretty sure you can spot things. But it's interesting that Kanye is doing this. Kanye has always been innovative, and he's also a perfectionist. So this is something new, because if Kanye is the perfectionist that he's always been, he wouldn't want to update an album. He'd be 100% content with it. Like, imagine if Kanye West said, I didn't like this on The College Dropout, so let me update it and change it. It'd be very, very weird. But here we are with The Life of Pablo, which was a really good album, and he's going with this concept. It's sort of like video game DLC, downloadable content. Except hip hop has never been about downloadable content. Video games, you create an open world game, and then 4, 5, 6 months later you put out some additions, new story, new characters, etc. But with hip hop, sort of our DLC has always been maybe remixes, of course, that kind of continues the process of an album, and unreleased songs. An artist can put out a record like whatever and say this was recorded during the sessions for this my last album and it didn't make the cut, and that kind of connects it back to that. So that's kind of been hip-hop's DLC, but Kanye has changed something different. So I wanted to have a little discussion, kind of point out the good and the bad of both sides when it comes to Kanye wanting to continue to update this album. And the cool thing is that he has the possibility to fix things that the fans might not like. But the problem with that is, what do fans like? I don't really care for Kanye's verse on Highlights, but I know people that did. So it kind of gets to like, it's more of Kanye doing whatever he feels he wants to hear. And I know, and it kind of, like, it just, I think, I'm trying to think, like, he just has the possibility to mess up things. Like, that possibility to fix and mess up, it kind of intertwines, because when it comes to fans, we all have a different opinion about things. Like I was just saying. So him changing things might, a fan might like this, but another fan might like the old version. So it kind of gets messy and tricky there. So it's a hard thing to do. And I commend Kanye for wanting to do something like this, because, it's something, like I keep saying, it's something we've never seen in hip hop. To continue to update your album as it's been out, as fans have really digested the album, learned all the words, and then you want to go and make improvements and changes to it. So I think it's kind of cool. That's one thing. It's cool to see this, because then we get to kind of see more of the process of Kanye's mind. Here we have the original version, then we have the updated version. Like, what did he change? What did he feel could be better? It's kind of like that. Instead of being like in a future interview saying, I wish the mix on Low Lights was better. I wish my verse on such and such song was better. I wish I had said this line instead. But to the extent of what Kanye is going to do with these updates, nobody really knows. There was a record that leaked the same day Pablo was put on the streaming services, and the record is called Saint Pablo, and it's not on the new version, but it's something that definitely sounded like it was recorded around that time. Obviously, the title gives it away, so it's like, is that going to be in a future update, or what's the deal with that? And like I said, we've seen minor changes. There hasn't been huge changes to the album. So is he gonna add songs? Is he gonna add whole new verses? Is he just gonna change? What is he gonna do? That's the exciting part for me is finding out what he's gonna do. But I can understand from both sides why it would be cool, but it would be also be bad. Like, an album is supposed to be artwork. Imagine if we got an updated version of the Mona Lisa every 10 years, 20 years, 100 years, whatever. It would be kind of weird just to see like the artist kind of update art. And it's like I said, it's something that we don't get in hip hop. So I'm interested to see where this goes from here. And I also want to know how it kind of factors into Kanye's next album. He already announced that he wants to drop 3 albums this year. And the second one is supposed to come this summer. We've seen him in the studio with Kid Cudi, Mike Dean, Plain Pat. There's rumors that Migos is going to be on it, Tony Williams. So these kind of people have been in the studio with Kanye. And so how is that affecting the process for his next album? Because if you're focusing on 2 things at once, something is not going to be as good. Like, these updates are kind of cool, but how is that affecting the next album? Is he focused enough on the next album to make it good? I don't know. So there's a lot to digest about this subject. And ultimately, I think it's just in the eyes of the fan. Whatever you believe. Because I can say this and you can say that. And we can go back and forth and we can disagree. But I can understand the perspective of both people. So I would love to know your thoughts on Kanye updating the life of Pablo over the next few months. What do you think about that? Do you think he should? Do you think he shouldn't? What would you like to see in future updates? Do you want to see improved verses and new beats? I don't know. The sky's the limit because they didn't specify what exactly is going to be changed and updated. I personally would like to see new verses for Highlights and Father Stretch My Hands Part 1 because those 2 verses were the worst on the album, but those are 2 of the best songs on the album. Like, if you get rid of Kanye verse, of course, but like having Young Thug on Highlights, it was a really good hook with Kanye, and then obviously Kid Cudi's part is a major standout, so I don't know, I would like to see that. Aside from that, I can't think of anything else that I would love to see him improve. Maybe less designer. I don't know. I don't think he'll omit anybody that was already on the album. He'll just add to it. So, talk to me in the comment section below. And then like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Share the video. Follow me on Twitter @SermonsDomain. And as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching. And until next time, peace.